Peace, world. I'm back. So I'm gonna get into family and friends. And again, as I always state and I always say, none of my videos are made to offend anybody, to disrespect anybody, or to harm anybody. They're made for higher learning, for better education, and for better knowledge for those who need it and for those who lack it. So when I talk about, or excuse me, when I speak about family and friends, we have to start drawing lines in the sand when it comes to family and friends. Meaning, we all, as our own person, despite your relationship with your mom, despite your relationship with your dad, or lack thereof a relationship with your mom, or lack thereof a relationship with your dad, or your sisters, or your brothers, or your cousins, or your aunts, uncles, whoever. You can have the greatest relationship with an aunt, an uncle, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. Peace and power to you. And you can have a terrible relationship with your mother, your father, your uncle, your aunt, your brother, your sister, so on and so on. It's still peace and power to you. However, as your own person, once you become an adult and you understand life, you have to set boundaries for yourself. Don't set boundaries based off what your mother told you, or what your father said, or what your uncle said, or what your grandmother said, or your grandfather said. It's nothing wrong with listening to what they say. It's nothing wrong with that. But you set your own boundaries for yourself. I take in what family members have taught me and told me, but I set my own boundaries for my own mental health, for my own mental stability. Because if I just base it off what my mom said, this about my aunt, or this about my cousin, or this about such and such, or this about, now I'm just gonna not listen to my own self when it's time for me to listen to me. And we all bump into that problem with family and friends. And I'm gonna elaborate. The first thing is because you believe in this family member, or you trust in this family member, now you start to abide by everything they're saying, and you can't see things clearly for yourself. And this could be your mom telling you something about your dad, or it could be your dad telling you something about your mom. I'm not saying, again, don't listen to your mom or your dad or family members or a family member. I'm saying once you get an adult, once you become an adult, and you get to that point where you start to understand life, you start to understand how to live life, how to feed yourself, how to clothe yourself, how to clean up after yourself. Once you get to that point in your life, you have to start to set boundaries, because we all become an adult, and it's like we hold on to what was said maybe when we was 14, 15, 10, 11, and we take that into adulthood, and we start to hold grudges, or we start to take personal, or we start to look at things from a personal perspective. And maybe we need to give that uncle or that aunt or that other person another opportunity now that we're an adult to deal with them. But what we do a lot is we hold on to the hurt that we had maybe when we was 10, 11, or 14 or 15 in our younger years. And it's like, well, Uncle so and so lied to me, or Aunt so and so mistreated me, or my father was never there for me, or my mom's turned her back on us. So now that I'm grown, I don't want to deal with my moms. I don't want to deal with my father. I don't want to go to Aunt so and so house. I don't want to go see Uncle so and so and such and such. And we start to take that into other relationships, with jobs, with friends, with co-workers, with our woman, or our man. And it's like, you know what? If you're a dude, it's like you've been hurt so much by your moms or by uncles or by aunts. It's like you don't let it go. And now you start to have resentment towards a relationship that probably could have grown and flourished. But you like, you know what, man, all dudes are like this, or all women are like this, or all family is like that. And that's not true. All coworkers are like that. And that's not true. All my friends are going to be like that. That's not true. You're depriving yourself that experience because now that you're an adult, all you got to do is set boundaries. That's all you got to do. And say, you know what, even though that's my sister, I know what it was like when we was younger. You know what, I'm going to give her opportunity now because she grown, I'm grown. I'm going to see if this relationship could go and flourish to something. If not, I'm going to just set a boundary and say, you know what, sis, I love you, but I'm going to speak to you when I can, how I can. If that works for you, I'm thankful. If not, no problem. Vice versa. But don't just have that stigma. It's like, okay, well, I was little and my pops was never there for me. My mom said he never loved me. So now I'm 22 and I'm still move as if I'm 12 and I'm 13 and not give my father opportunity or not give my uncle opportunity. Or I was in a relationship with a woman for 5 years and that didn't work out. So now all women are like that. Or I was in a relationship with a man for 10 years, all men are like that. No, no. And we get this because family may have told you something or friends may have said something. So if you're a woman, for instance, one of your friends could have told you 16, girl, all men gonna be like that for the rest of your life. See how he broke your heart? When you get 27, men still gonna break your heart. When you get 30, men still gonna be disloyal. Men still gonna cheat on you. Men still gonna be not honest. It's like, hold on, hold on. No, that's not accurate. I understand that you experienced that. I'm not saying run from your experiences. No, but that don't mean because you experienced that it's gonna be like that for the rest of your life or moving forward. It's not gonna be that way. But if you allow people to implant that in your mind, then how can you ever grow and evolve and ascend to the person that you looking to become or the person that you need to be for you? But if you set no excuse me when you set boundaries, the more you mature and the more you grow up, then life won't be like that. And I had to learn that the hard way, to set boundaries. Because if I listen to cousin so and so or aunt so and so or uncle so and so, I'm depriving myself and someone else of being there for me in ways that I might not even seen that person could be there for me. And I'm not saying that you need others to make you happy. I'm not saying that at all. But you could be denying someone of an experience, of a way that you didn't even know you can experience this person, or you can experience the situation. It could be traveling, it could be eating, it could be dressing, it can be money, it can be any experience. But if you just listen to a friend all the time or family all the time, you start to deprive and deny yourself of that. I listened to family when it came to certain things, and I was never able to get that full experience because I listened to my mom or my dad or my uncle or my aunt or a friend or somebody that I grew up with or somebody that was around for X amount of years out of my life, and not knowing if I would have just matured enough as I got older and listened to me and set a boundary, I could experience that. But since I listened to that person, that family member or that friend, I deprived myself. And now, the more I grew up, I had resentment towards those people, not knowing I had resentment towards those people. Because I had to think back, like, man, I listen to Uncle so and so, man. I ain't even get the opportunity to experience to go here. I ain't get the opportunity to experience to do this or to do that because I listened to a friend or I listened to family members. So I denied myself access to date other women. So for example, maybe I was only dating women that look like me because I listened to family. Or I listen to friends, you don't date people that don't look like you. They don't love us. And now I never got that experience because I listened to a family member or a friend. And that don't make them family members or friends bad people. That don't make them that. But when you listening to them and you're not making decisions on your own for you now because you're an adult and you're looking to ascend and evolve to become the person that's best for you, or the person that God is seeing you becoming, you don't get to experience that. And a lot of times, people tell you things based off their experiences, which is nothing wrong with that, but that don't mean it applies to you or it applies for you. I've been through a lot of things in my life, but just because I've been through it, I'm telling my children, not because I'm telling them to listen to me. So, no, they can have a better understanding of what I've been through. That's why, not for them to even avoid it, but just because I've been through it and I tell them, that don't mean they're gonna avoid it. I'm gonna say that again. I'm telling them that so they can have a better understanding of what I've been through. That don't mean because I'm telling them they gonna avoid it, or it could be avoided. Certain things you just may have to go through. But again, that don't make the family members or the friends telling you bad people. That don't make them that. But you have to grow and ascend to make better decisions for you the more you grow in life. But if you always listening to family and friends and you're not making decisions for you that's best for you, and you might not know those decisions are best for you at that moment in time in your life, but you have to make them to find out. I had to understand to separate myself from family and or friends so I could see things better for me. And when I did that, I became not only a better person, but I was able to see things clearer because I wasn't around family and or friends. And again, it doesn't make family bad or it doesn't make friends bad. You just have to do things so you can become a better version of yourself. And sometimes it takes getting away from things and or people, family and or friends, so you can see things clearer, so you can see things better. And when you do that now, you get to see things better for you. But when you allow family and or friends to say, no, oh, you're antisocial, or you think you better than us, or now that you're doing this, you don't know your family is. Nah, I do know my family. I do love my family. However, I got to get to know me so I can love me sincerely and dearly. So when I reach out to you and tell you I love you, I can really mean it and not just tell you that, because normally I was growing up like, yo, I love you, auntie, I love you, uncle, I love you, cousin. And that don't mean I don't love them, but like I always say, naturally I want to learn how to love people. Not normally, because that's the norm. I'm doing things naturally, organically, so I could be authentic. So I'm not just saying I love my spouse or my kids or my mom or my dad or family members or friends just to say it because it sounds good. It caters to one's ego. It caters to one's pride. I'm saying it because I sincerely love them unconditionally. So that means when they're at the high of a high, I'm gonna love them and respect them and be honest with them. When they're at a low of the low, I'm gonna love them, be honest, and be there with them and for them too. So when they ain't got no food, I could say, man, I ain't got much, but you welcome to this. And when it's a feast, you welcome to this. That's how you be authentic. That's how you be genuine. But when you just following the norm because everybody else is being around family, then you gonna do it. Everybody else having friends, you gonna do it. Because normally that's what you seen. So sometimes you got to take steps back so you can take steps forward. Not always just take steps forward. Because now you're becoming a follower and you're not being your own man or your own woman or your own person. And that's important when you're dealing with what? Family and or friends. And that got to become important because, again, when holidays come around, it's like, okay, man, I grew up, I was always around my family. Not saying that if you're not around them on the holidays, you don't love your family, but maybe you was doing that because you've been programmed to do that. And it's nothing wrong with being around family for the holiday, but ain't nothing wrong with not being around them either. So don't allow people to convince you, man, you don't want to be around your family. Why not? It's like, man, I'm just trying to get to learn myself so I could tolerate me. Because you don't know what it's like to tolerate yourself when you always around other people. And then when they get tired of tolerating you, now you got a conflict. But if you know what it's like to tolerate you never gonna have a conflict. I have told some of my children that. I have told my significant other that. Like, yo, I appreciate you. I understand I had to deal with myself. Thank you for tolerating me. I understand what it's like to tolerate me. Thank you for tolerating me for a year, for 2 months, 3 months, whatever it was, 5 years, whatever it is, 5 minutes, because now I understand what it's like. But if you always around family and friends and they get tired of tolerating you now, y'all gonna have a conflict. Cause like, man, I'm better off being by myself. Exactly. And again, that don't make you a bad person or them a bad person, but you don't know what it's like to tolerate yourself, to deal with yourself, to have to clean up after yourself, to have to cook for yourself, to have to tend and fend for yourself. So now when you got to do it with someone else or with family or with friends, you understand what it's like. You can set those boundaries and say, look, I love you and all that, sis, or I love you and all that, bro, but look, this is my limit. And it's not that I'm loving you to a limit, but I have to have boundaries. So now me and you don't cross each other boundaries. So we could stay fully committed to loving each other as a brother and as a sister, or as an aunt and as an uncle, or as a cousin, or as a woman and as a man, or as a father and as a daughter, as a son, or as a mother and a son, or as a mother to a daughter. But if you don't set those boundaries, how you ever gonna learn? How you ever gonna know? You just gonna go through life living normally how everybody been living it. I want to start, and I'm starting to go through life living it naturally, organically, sincerely. And I know in the beginning and at times it's gonna rub certain family members the wrong way, certain friends the wrong way. That's not my intention. And I'm gonna tell them that I love you. That's not my intention, but I'm getting to learn me. So when I learn me now, I can let you know, no, this is just who I am. This is who I'm becoming. And if you're not accustomed to that or you don't want to deal with that, no problem. Stay blessed. But I know me, I got to stay focused on what I got to do to keep my mental health intact, to keep my strength intact, keep my mental stability right. And I'm not doing this to belittle you or harm you or offend you, but I love me some me. I'm caught up in me without being conceited. I'm learning how to do that. I'm gonna say that again. I love me some me. I'm caught up in myself without being conceited. See, when you learn that and you start to apply that to your life, you start to look at you and your life differently from how other people look at themselves and their lives. Because when I was at that low of a low that I always speak about, when I was digging in the garbage doing bottles and cans, I got to spend time with me. When I was going to those soup kitchens, I got to spend time with me. When I was homeless, living outside, I got to spend time with me. Because when I thought I was at a high of a high, when I had good jobs, or I was out there hustling, running the streets, and I still would clash with family, or I still would clash with friends. I had to understand that because I didn't set boundaries and I didn't spend enough time with me. Same thing with my children. How can I be the father that I know I could be or the father they need me to be when I didn't know what it was like to be a man and to be a father? I just became one. Becoming something and being something is two different things. You could become a boss, but it's the difference when you got to be one. I'm going to say that again. You could become a boss, but it's different when you got to be one. So I became a father till I had to learn what it's like to be one. So just because you became a mother, that don't mean you know what it's like to be one. So we have to understand it's lines in the sand we got to start drawing in life. But when you don't draw no lines in the sand, you look back on it like, oh, this stressing me out. This get on my nerve. Yeah, because you're not into yourself enough. You into clothes though. You into music though. You into sports though. You into food though. You into social media though. You into your family though. You into your friends though. You into your job or your career. And ain't nothing wrong with none of those things. But how is that going to supersede you getting into you? Nothing to supersede me being into me no more. That includes family. That includes friends. That includes money. That includes clothes. That includes food. That includes my children. And I love my family. I love my friends. I love my children. But how is it going to supersede me? Like I said, I love me some me. I'm caught up in myself without being conceited because it's not all about me. It's just all about me getting to know me better. I'm going to say that again. It's not all about me. It's just all about me getting to know myself better. That's what it's all about. So I could be more in tune with myself, so I could see the blessings that God has to offer me. So I can now extend those blessings to my family, to my friends, to my children, with my wardrobe, with my diet, with how I utilize money, with how I utilize my time. But if I'm caught up in everything else, when am I making time for me? And if I'm not making time for me mentally, it's going to be a stalemate because now I don't have the time that I need for others, family, children, career, or my job, or my wardrobe, or my diet. So now I'm neglect those things. And now from those other people perspective, family, my children or friends, now they're gonna look at me like I'm not authentic when it came to being their friend or their family member or their father. Why? Because I didn't get to know me. But I got to know how the NBA go. I got to know how rap songs go, or hip hop songs go, or R&B songs go. I got to know how the latest fashion work. But I ain't get to know how the latest thing work with me. And not only with me, as me being my own person, but I don't even know how my own heart work, my own liver work, my own lungs work, my own eyes work, my own nose work. Because that's still connected to me. So the point of this video today was it's nothing wrong with loving family and friends, but love you first and foremost and learn how to do it. It takes time, it takes steps. That's why I do so much homework and research so I can learn better ways how to do things. Like I said before, I'm going to say again, it's several ways to get an answer. I can ask somebody how to get 10. One person's going to tell me 6 plus 4. That's not the end of it. Somebody else is going to tell me 8 plus 2. That's not the end of it. Somebody's going to tell me 5 plus 5. Someone's going to tell me 7 plus 3. Someone else is going to tell me 9 plus 1. It's several ways to get answers. But when you just stay convicted on the way you know to get the answer, it's nothing wrong with that. But it's a bigger, broader scale. And you need to look at it on that level. And we need to start doing that when it comes to ourselves. Spend more time with yourself so you can understand you better. Nobody know you better than you. Don't worry about what people gonna say. People gonna talk about you when you're doing good or bad, negative or positive. It don't matter. People gonna talk about you tall or short, skinny or slim, fat or overweight. And I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying it like that. People gonna talk regardless. But you know what's important? How you see you, how you deal with yourself, how you take care of yourself, how you know yourself. Because see how people criticizing you? They ain't studying themselves. That's why I say I talk to people and not about them. So when people got time to talk about you, they ain't studying themselves. That's important. So pay attention to that. This has been another episode of Display Righteousness, Direct Results. Peace, world.